I feel like I want to add a few more fixed blades to my channel. It's been a lot of focus last couple of years, perhaps even, on folders, which is interesting since my channel has pretty much been exclusively about fixed blades and axes before. But times are changing. Regardless, I want to try to perhaps not even it out, but I want to throw in some more fixed blades into the mix. And I've decided to try out a new to me American brand maker called Tops Knives. I guess most of you that are looking are familiar with them. Maybe you don't own a knife, but you are probably familiar with the brand as I was as well. And for those of you that own a knife made by Tops, you probably know what's on the table here right now. So these are all the boxes of the knives that I bought. So the boxes are in fact nothing more than a plastic bag, and inside each plastic bag there is a certificate of authenticity and one of these emergency whistles. So in other words, there will be a few knives here shown on the channel, since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 whistles, which means that there are 12 not only knives, there are in fact a couple of axes or hatchets as well. I think there are 1, 2, 3, yeah, at least 3 axes or hatchets as well, and the rest of them are different types of knives. So there's not going to be a lot of unboxing being done here. I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna organize the video, because I want to perhaps make some individual videos for certain knives, but I also want to make some interesting comparisons and show a lot of these knives and hatchets together, because there are not a lot of videos out there doing that. So yeah, for those who wonder how these work or sound, that's how they sound and work. Emergency whistle. I'm never gonna run out of them, not during this lifetime at least. And let me just toss these away. And the plastic bags, like I mentioned, you have a model name here. For example, on this one it says VX. There is this American flag, and then there is a certificate of authenticity here inside. What I find to be pretty interesting with all of these certificate of authenticities is that, well, in this case there were 2 inside, I'm not sure why. It looks like they are supposed to write, you know, the model and purchase date, etc., but they all come, you know, blank. There is nothing filled in, and I've looked through all these 12 certificate of authenticities. Not that I, you know, really care or anything. I just find it a little bit strange that a certificate of authenticity can be just, you know, a piece of paper with nothing about the actual model or anything else specified. Doesn't really matter too much though. So these are all the boxes. I mean, the good part is it takes not a lot of space to store these plastic bags. So that's a good thing, right? And before we move on, I also want to say that when I picked my knives, I looked through pretty much all the models that Tops offer. I did of course want to go with some of the hatchets and axes, because, well, that is sort of my one of my main interests is also axes and hatchets from different makers, so that was something that I really wanted to take a closer look at. But in terms of the knives, I did go with a pretty wide variety. One really large knife blade. I wanted to get a HATCHETS as well, because I think that's probably the biggest or the best seller from Tops in terms of their largest size knives. But it is sadly out of stock, and it has been out of stock for quite some time. But I did go with one large blade, then I went with some similar large to medium size and some smaller knives. And I also went with designs that are kind of unique to Tops, because as most of you know, I do have quite a lot of fixed blades. So I wanted to focus on some designs that I simply cannot get my hands on anywhere else. And that means that I also ventured a bit into the the more tactical or combat oriented knives that the TOPS offers. And I mean, it's not that they may be the most practical blades or the most versatile of knives, but they are interesting knives, and I feel like I want to have more unique designs on my channel, not knives that look a lot like other knives that I currently have. So that is just something that I want to mention before we go into greater detail and start looking at all the different models. Starting off with the axes / hatchets. And there's also one knife here on the table as well, because together with the hammerhawk, there is actually, well, it's not always included, but it can be included, a small fixed blade here as well that goes inside the belt carrying system. But we will take a look here at the hammerhawk, which is quite a hefty hawk, hatchet, yeah, whatever you want to call it. We also have the, let's go with this one, the TOPS V-axe, a much more tactical axe of sorts that we're also going to take a closer look at. And finally, but definitely not least, we have the high impact axe. This is quite an interesting axe. I'm not going to call this a hatchet, nor am I going to call it a hawk. I'm going to call this an axe. So that is the three axes that we will be taking a closer look at. And I'm going to find a slightly larger table as well, so we can fit them all nicely together. But just to give you an idea of which hatchet, hawks and axes that we will be seeing in this video. In the large to medium sized range, we are going to be taking a look at TOPS Bestia. Really large, kind of kukri style chopper. We are going to be taking a look at Silent Hero. We're also going to be taking a look at Brush Wolf, as well as the Spirit Hunter and the Sabo Express Double Edge. So there's quite a mix here, both in terms of steel uses, practical uses, different kinds of sheath. I'm trying to bring a bit of a variety here to the video, and I think it's going to be quite interesting, to be honest. Up last, we have the smaller size knives here. We have the Wolf Pup XL, the Rapid Strike, the Fell on a Stop, Eagle's Shadow, and Desert Sun. So most of these knives have more, tactical appearances or more combat oriented of sorts, but they can all be used for, regular knife oriented tasks as well. But like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I did go with a bit more tactical oriented knives due to them being unique to TOPS and their designs. So those are the 13 knives that we will be looking at, or 13 knives and axes / hatchets, I guess I should say. So I hope I'm bringing some good variety here to the table in terms of different designs and different materials, etc. Different types of steels, sheath, and so on. So yeah, let's take a closer look at what we have now that we have made this short introduction of sorts. Next up, we're going to take a closer look at each individual model, be it an axe, hatchet or knife. And we're going to start with the axes and hatchets. First off, we have the high impact axe. This is quite a beast. I'm not going to go over all the specs now for all 14 models if you count that backup knife also. Because it's just going to be crunching numbers, and it's going to be too much just too much numbers and it's gonna get boring. So I'm just gonna show the each different model and say that this is one heavy, large, compact axe. I mean, the thickness here is insane. Here you can see the profile. This is, I promise you the video is not doing this one justice. This is insanely compact, insanely heavy, for better or worse. Full tang, micarta scales. This high impact axe feels like a true beast. It feels indestructible. I don't have anything in my axe collection that even resembles this one. So the high impact axe. What a monster. Then we have the Hammerhawk. And I mean, this is not, your typical lightweight. I mean, they even did some weight reduction here, milling out parts here on the head and also putting a decorative arrow on it. This is, like I said, this is not your typical little, camp hatchet or hawk. This has some good weight to it as well, but after having just handled the high impact axe, this one doesn't feel, that heavy. But it is also quite thick, quite sturdy. Look at the thickness here. Micarta scales. Nice hammer pull. Here we have the profile. So this is a compact, very tough hawk. Some nice ergos to it as well. I kind of would have designed this, the end pommel here, a bit differently than what it is now. Kind of would have preferred it to be actually the other way around than it is. But other than that, it feels durable. But yeah, the pommel designer is a bit, I'm not really sure what to think about it. It doesn't feel, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this end part here. I would have designed it differently. But still, I wanted this axe, I wanted to, try it out. I wanted to feel it. And yeah, I mean, it is an interesting design, also very different from all other axes, hatchets, hawks that I have. I hope I can become friends with this end pommel part here though. I mean, this would have been better. Yeah, anyway, this is the Hammerhawk. What do we have here? Yeah, you guys already know. This is the V-axe. Look at that. Not sure if I'm gonna call it a spike, but yeah, something. So this is an interesting axe. I definitely do not have anything like this in my collection. I mean, this one is all over the place. I've got to say, they also did some internal, or not internal, but they did some milling here to reduce the weight of the axe. But this is just, even from a tactical standpoint, feels more like a Viking battle axe of sorts. Not that I am in any way an expert on that. What I say now might be very wrong even, but it feels, I'm not really sure what you're going to use this axe for, to be honest. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but I thought it was interesting to include it in the video. That is why I got it. And I mean, I do have my fair share of, workhorses of axes, so maybe I can once in a while, get something that is just, plain different and unique, to bring some variation into the collection of sorts. Also got some good weight to it. The handle, you have a bit of a limited handle here. And it's also, as you can see, this is not comfortable. I can tell you that much. I mean, I kind of want to put some paracord or something, maybe do some wrapping of cloth tape or I could just use gloves, of course. That would also eliminate the issue. But I do realize that they did like this to get extra grip, and that, this is not supposed to be a comfortable axe you work in the garden with or anything like that. This is more, specialized combat tool, I reckon. So I mean, from a ergonomical perspective, I would have wanted a different handle. I would have wanted the handle length up here, for sure. But I mean, I know what I was getting when I got this, and I think that most people that picked this axe up, they know exactly what they are getting. But a really, you know, interesting, unique design, the Tops V axe. Next up, we are going with the large, medium to large sized blades or knives. And this is the Bestia. What even is this? So this is a kukri styled chopper of sorts. Very, you know, very unique design. I have nothing like this in my collection. Then again, I can say that about a lot of the axes and knives that I got from Tops here. But this is, wow, this is interesting. So I really wanted the HATCHETS to begin with, but it's been out of stock, so that is why I decided to go with something else. And I mean, this is a beast, no doubt. Holy crap, yeah, the Bestia. So you got a nice finger groove choil here. You can also go with the back grip only. I bet this will do some serious serious damage to wood. Definitely. Yeah, 1095 steel, much like the axes and hatchets as well. I forgot to mention that as well, but 1095 it is, with some different types of coating. Yeah, this one is a monster of a blade. So going down in size and quite a bit here, let's go with the next one. This is quite a bit smaller than the Bestia, and I think now that we have gone over all the really big knives, maybe we should actually zoom in a bit, because we don't need all this space now. Now we can, you know, get it in the picture regardless. So give me 1 second and I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Now we are slightly more zoomed in so that we can catch some more details of the different models shown here. So this is the brush wolf. I will say right away that I am not a big fan of these sorts of sword teeth or serrations or whatever you want to call it on the back. I can feel like they are sharp, you know, you can probably make some nice notches and stuff with it, but in general I do not like this kind of stuff. That's why you won't see it on many of the knives that I picked up from Tops. But I'm not saying this is bad, I'm saying it's personal preferences, because that is what it is. But this is the Brush Wolf 1095, really nice ergos to it, really long handle as well, I've got to say. Feels like a good versatile, you know, do-it-all knife, to be completely honest. Do we have the balance point it's gonna be? Yeah, it's a little bit, it's actually a little bit front heavy or forward heavy. Anyways, the Brush Wolf. Really nice ergos, some nice jimping here as well. Not, you know, the type of jimping that I really appreciate. It's not, you know, too aggressive or anything, not too smooth. It just feels like it gives you just enough, you know, traction. Brush Wolf. Then we have a more tactical blade of sorts, the Silent Hero. This is probably one of the more popular, I would say, medium-sized tactical blades by Tops, one of the most common models, I would say as well. This one has some type of camo finish to it. It was the only one available, but I actually like the finish. 1095 steel as well, nice full finger choil, bit of jimping, bit of a ramp, semi-thin profile, and a good ergos. This is the Rocky Mountain, I think they call it. I was actually concerned that this would feel not so nice in hand unless you wear gloves, but to be honest, this feels good. I mean, it's not giving you any blisters or hot spots, it's just giving you extra grip. Maybe because they kind of smoothed it or rounded it a little bit, so it's actually not that bad. So if you've been thinking about Rocky Mountain, this is one of the better, you know, better grip improvements that can be done without actually giving you hot spots or blisters. Nice piece of guard here as well. Full flat grind. Yeah, the silent hero. So here we have the Spirit Hunter. This one is not made in 1095. This one is actually 154 cm steel, stainless, which I also appreciate. I mean, 1095 is not a bad steel, but I do appreciate a good stainless from every once in a while. Got some really nice ergos, this knife. Incredibly nice ergos. There is a bit of, finger grooves here. Could be a deal breaker for some, but it's not, super pronounced or super contoured, and it's really smoothly, nicely rounded. G10 black and blue scales. And this one actually has hollow pins. Usually we see, torque screws for pins. No jimping, no nothing. Bit of a recurve going on here. And I do like recurve, but this one is ever so slight, I would say. Goes into a nice wedge up here. Not sure how visible it is. And a bit of a, yeah. It does have a nice look and feel. It might look a bit plain to some people, but to me this feels like such a functional, nice ergonomical knife. Really, yeah. The Spirit Hunter. Last blade in the medium size is the Sabo Express. This is the double edge version. There is also a single edge, but I decided to go with the double edge. I mean, if you're gonna go tactical, might as well go full tactical at that. So this is not a true dagger of sorts because it's not super, symmetrical. The top side here is a bit less wide than the down side here. But this is really, a pure tactical blade made for, combat related purposes. But then again, I mean, will it slice fruit and vegetables? Will it slice meat in the kitchen? Yeah, it will, regardless of which size you slice with. In terms of comfort, it's a very, comfortable knife. Got great ergos. It is super light. It really is not like a feather, but it really is light. It has such a thin profile to it as well. The only place with a full thickness is this small line here. Wonder how balanced the knife is. This is where we have the balance point. And in reverse grip, it does feel good in a reverse grip as well. I actually like this knife quite a lot. Not sure I'm going to use it quite a lot, but I do like the way they designed it and the way they executed the design in the actual production. It is a really, really cool knife. I don't like the word, but I want to say it now. I like the Sabo Express double edge. Wouldn't mind owning the single edge as well, but if I had to pick one of them, I would go with the double edge, hands down. Next up, we're gonna take a closer look at the smaller sized knives here. I'm gonna start with the Eagle Shadow. I'm gonna go with the biggest to the smallest, and I think this is the bigger one of the smaller ones. So this is what the Eagle Shadow looks like. Got a nice wedge going on here, but it's actually kind of on the thick side here. And it's definitely not, not sharpened, but I mean, yeah, I guess I could have seen them make a sharpened swedge as well. Would have made for a more tactical approach to the design than what it is. But this is a compact, hefty knife. Got some nice jimping here. I really like what Tops is doing with the jimping. I think it is the perfect in between, in terms of roughness and traction. It just feels good. Nice finger choil here, full finger choil as well, with a bit of a guard actually. Despite being a smaller size knife, it's definitely, it's a full 4-finger grip without using the finger choil. Using it, choking up like this. So this is a design that I really like. I'm not sure how popular the Eagle's Shadow is, but to me it was, one of the knives that I felt, instantly like this is a knife I want to add to my collection. Nice harpoon grind as well, of course. Swedge harpoon. Great ergos. The Eagle's Shadow, compact knife. Feels like a real workhorse. Next up, let's go with the Rapid Strike. So this one is offered in two different versions, one with a sharpened swedge, or a double edge. This one is single edge. If the double edge would have been available, that is the one I would have gotten, because I feel like this have quite, the tactical approach to it as well. Oh, I forgot to mention that the Eagle's Shadow is in 1095. This one is actually in stainless, 154 cm. And most of Topps knives are 1095, but I do like that they are venturing into stainless every once in a while. I've got to say that. So this is a super light knife. The balance point, let's see where it is. This is where we will find the balance point on the Rapid Strike. Super light knife, super small, swift. Got some nice, pretty. It may look aggressive, but it is actually not super aggressive, the jimping. It is actually quite nice, and there's also some jimping-like thing going on here around the entirety of the handle. Not sure it actually does much to it other than look kind of neat, but it feels really nice and nimble in hand. This was also one of those knives that I felt instantly like, this knife, I need to add this to my Topps video if I'm gonna pick some of the models that I really like. Each model seen in this video is handpicked by me. I really went through and looked at 200, 300 different Topps knives, and these were the ones that spoke the most to me. But some spoke even more to me, like the Sabo Express, like the Rapid Strike, and a few others that I felt like, instantly I need those knives. Feels great in a reverse grip, and up here you have a, let's see, you have a glass breaker. Might be difficult to see, but there's a glass breaker up there as well, hidden. So nimble, nice, stainless, pokey, stabby knife, the Rapid Strike. Light as a feather. So next up, let's go with the Wolf Pup XL. I thought this was an interesting design, and I quickly realized that the Wolf Pup, the regular version, would not work with my hands, or I think it would not work. So I went with the larger XL version, which feels really nice in hand. So this knife is pretty much all about belly. There is quite a width to this knife here. Feels good in hand, feels good in a reverse grip as well for those interested in that. Got a bit of jimping going on here up on this ramp part. I'm not really sure what you're gonna use these holes for, and to be fully honest, I would have liked to grind down this top part so I could just place my thumb here, my finger, and have it in line with the spine of the knife. But even so, it's an interesting knife. I don't have anything else in my collection resembling this specific design, which is also a good reason why I went with the Wolf Pup XL. Really interesting knife. The balance point on this one, yeah, where is that? Let's see. So that is where we find the balance point. Yeah, really interesting design. Great ergos. Just don't fully like this top part here. Lots of belly. Next up, let's take a look at the felony stop. I think this is actually a pretty popular model. I think it's also designed by the same man as the Sabo Express. So this is a very tactical look and feel to it. It is a double edge. You got a full edge down here, and then you got this edge up here as well. Placing the knife in your hand like this, and your thumb here, gives a really, really good and secure grip. This knife melts into my hand. This was also one of those knives, perhaps one of the top 3 knives that I had to have when I was gonna make this Topps video. It really spoke to me. And I can see this being used for other things than just, tactical or combat oriented tasks due to how well the ergos are. I really like, really like the look and feel of the felony stop. But I do of course realize that it is a very tactically blade. Balance point of this one, yeah. And this is of course nice to hold in a reverse grip, which is a big thing in the general design to do, or hold it like this. Felony stop. Next up, this is an interesting one, and I didn't get the specs right when I ordered this, because I thought that the size of this one, this is the Desert Sun, I thought it was going to be more in the size of, let's say, the Eagle's Shadow, but it turned out to be quite a bit smaller. I just saw it and thought like, yeah, this is going to be a medium-sized knife with a nice recurve to it. I've got to have this knife, but it turned out to be quite a bit smaller than expected. But it makes it, a cute, but kind of, cool little blade of sorts. The Desert Sun. I mean, if you don't like recurves, then this is of course not a knife for you. But if you do appreciate a pretty, actually, not that sublime, this is actually a real recurve, then this could be the knife for you. The balance point on this little thing, find it there. So, size 10 in gloves, I should have mentioned that in the beginning, not at the end of this segment. But placing it like this, I do get a full 4-finger grip. There's a bit of jimping here, if you place your thumb up here, and then you have a bit of a swedge going on. Might be difficult to see due to the black traction coating here on the blade. But this is a pretty nice grip. Placing your thumb over here, not so nice, because this ramp it's not sharp, it is rounded, but it's still, yeah, not super nice. Works more like a bit of a guard if you go like with this kind of grip, then you have a guard-like feel to it. The Desert Sun. Smaller than one would think when you are not reading the full specs closely. But I like it. I like it perhaps almost even more in this smaller size. An EDC recurve blade with a full 4-finger grip. Last we have, and I almost forgot this one, I haven't really included this so much in the video, I think I tend to forget it, but this is the Tops backup knife, the one that came with my Hammerhawk. Really small skeleton knife blade. You're not gonna do a whole lot of stuff with it. It's more like the name implies. It's gonna be your backup if you forget your knife. It weighs practically nothing. 1095 steel, I realized now that I forgot to mention the steel on some of the knives. But 1095, and yeah, I mean, I don't see myself going to use this a lot. I wouldn't have bought this one separately. I mean, I only have it because it was included with the Hammerhawk, which I really wanted, so that is the main reason. But if you are looking for a small knife with this type of profile, I mean, and you like tops, then by all means this could be an interesting knife for you. But it really doesn't speak that much to me. Functional, yeah, I'm sure it is, for what it is. The backup. Let's talk a little bit about the different sheaths that Tops offers. So the knives that I went with have either KYDEX sheath or leather sheaths. They do offer nylon sheaths, and usually for their medium to semi-large knives. The really large knives usually come with a KYDEX, but in the mid-range, like I'd say like medium to semi-large, that is where you will see the nylon sheath. And I know that the nylon sheath is not super popular. I'm not the biggest fan of nylon sheaths regardless of maker. So that is why I was also a bit selective with my models, that I wanted them to be either KYDEX or leather. But let's start with the KYDEX here now, because I didn't fully know, the quality of Tops KYDEX sheaths before I actually ordered a bunch of them. at pretty much the very same time. So let's start by doing our regular rattling test of sorts to see how, you know, how the fit is. So on this one we have 0 rattling, good first start. On the Wolf Pup XL, no rattling. The Desert Sun, no rattling. The Sabo Express Double Edge sounds, I think it's probably coming from this part. Let's see if I can. Okay, we do have a tiny bit of rattling, or do we? Yeah, the ever so slightest bit of rattling. I would say it is, well, not an issue whatsoever. This is the Eagle Shadow. No rattling. The Felony Stop. No rattling. The Rapid Strike. No rattling. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we only had the slightest of rattling coming from the Sabo Express. But even so, I mean, it's not like the knife is moving a lot in the sheath here. It's just, yeah, almost non-noticeable rattling. So let's see how the retention is of each respective knife here. So I'm gonna say right away that the Bestia here, the beast at the table, I mean, it has a very different design here of the KYDEX sheath compared to the others with the more open back part here. See, let's open this up. Is it possible to, no? Okay, so let's see how this one snaps out. Yeah, I mean, it feels very secure here. The retention is, it's not too much, not too weak. It is the way you would want it, and it does feel secure. I'm gonna remove the Bestia from the table for now, but I do like the KYDEX sheath for the Bestia. Let's take the Sabo Express now and see how the retention is. Going with the thumb to snap it out. Yeah, this feels extremely secure. Not a chance that I'm gonna shake this one loose. Really nice. Kind of an interesting belt attachment system here. Kind of simple, but it does look practical and functional. See if it is visible there. Let's go with the next one for now. Yeah, the Bestia, it's just a regular dangler system, which I actually think is quite nice. I do like dangler options on my sheaths. Let's go with the Wolf Pup next here and see how it is. So it's not gonna shake loose. Not quite as strong retention as the others, but it's definitely not coming out. No nice, you know, popping sound when, yeah, well, if you time it right. But it is, you know, the retention is strong. It's, you know, yeah, it could have been a bit more snappier perhaps, but definitely functional, very much. This one has another type of belt system here. Let's see if we can get it in the camera to be seen. Same kind of, you know, principle of doing this, but this is a rotating clip, so you can rotate it slowly to have it, you know, how you want to have it on your belt. Let's go with the Eagle's Shadow for now. Start right away by doing this test, and it's not falling out. Once again, placing my thumb here. Nice popping, you know, closing in. Yeah, feels really good. yeah, same kind of rotating belt clip on this one as well. I think we're gonna see the same type of belt clip on all three here, perhaps. Let's go with the Desert Sun now. I cannot shake it loose. Not a super satisfying, you know, sound when entering the KYDEX sheath, but it is secure. The retention feels secure and good. Yeah, the Desert Sun. So let's go with the Rapid Strike now. This one, yeah, this one does not have, it's the same type of belt system here as the others. It's just that this one cannot be rotated since it's attached with the two screws like that. So this is a non-rotatable belt clip. So in terms of retention, satisfying sound, feels super secure. No chance that I can shake it out. I like this little thumb thing here as well, so to help, you know, push it out. Kind of strong retention to this one. Yeah, I like this a lot. Last but not least, we have the felony stop. I cannot shake it out. Once again, nice thumb placement here. Not a super satisfying sound, but it's still, you know, I mean, how important is that sound to begin with, but still, I mean, but it feels secure. The retention is not the strongest, but it's definitely secure. All of these knives feel secure. You will not be able to shake them loose. So overall, I would say that all the KYDEX sheaths are secure. The retention is strong, medium to strong on all of the knives. Slight rattling, but not a lot on the Sabo Express. Let's see if you can place them all in the camera. And then the giant Bestia here on top. So I will say that it seems, from my experience now, that the Tops knives, they know how to make really good KYDEX sheaths. And that's a big plus, because I do like a well-made KYDEX sheath. And I think that, you know, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blades at the same time, you do get a feeling of the consistency in quality. And this seems to be highly consistent. Let's take a bit of a closer look here at the leather work made by Tops. So I had heard from some people that Tops did some pretty good leather work. And well, I do like KYDEX sheath, but I also really appreciate some good, heavy, sturdy, thick leather work for my knives as well. And I can say right away that that is what I have been provided when I picked up the Silent Hero, the Brush Wolf and the Spirit Hunter, as well as the 3 different axes and hawks, but we're going to take a look at them after we have gone over these 3 sheets here. So we've got 2 sheets with a dangler belt carrying system and one with a regular belt loop just sewn to the leather. I generally prefer dangler systems, but this works just as fine as well. The leather for all 3 here, we have a bit of a different color here to begin with. We have some black leather, some more dark brown, and this is, I guess this is also black now that I think about it. It sort of looked like really dark brown first, but it is in fact black leather as well. The leather for all 3 knives here is thick. It's kind of feels kind of oily. Not that I have a problem with that, because I usually put on a coating of Obernaufs or some other, you know, leather protection of sorts. So that is not a big deal. With the Silent Hero and with the Brush Wolf, there is some paracord that you get with it. I might remove it because I don't think I'm going to use it that very much. As you can see here on the Silent Hero, the bottom part here, as well as on the Brush Wolf, you can secure the sheath to your leg using the paracord here of sorts. So the Spirit the Spirit Hunter and the Brush Wolf are both pouch designs, meaning that you just it's more of an open sheath design where you just insert a knife like that. Whereas the Silent Hero has this clip. Oh, am I losing my vocabulary right now? Well, you have this clip here to secure the knife in the sheath, and I think this is probably the more secure option, because this is feels a little bit like it could, if I'm shaking it like this, I could probably get the knife to actually fall out for the Brush Wolf. Perhaps the Spirit Hunter is a little bit more, perhaps it's not a little bit more secure, so it is a bit more of an open design of sorts here. For better or worse, we are all, we all have our different preferences in terms of sheath designs. You also get a fire steel holder with the Spirit Hunter, and the fire steel was actually included. I didn't know that when I ordered the knife, but the fire steel was included, so that was a nice touch, I would say. Yeah, they are they're all three well sewn, symmetrical, nice sewing here. Let's take a closer look at that. Nice stitching. It does feel to be of really high quality, I've got to say. Perhaps this one could have been slightly tighter, and the Spirit Hunter as well. But then again, I mean, these are not knives that you're gonna carry, like this, or in scout carry. I mean, the way it is designed is for the sheath to be, hanging in your belt, dangling like this. With you not risking to lose the knife. But I will say that it is a little bit, if we're talking like retention of sorts, whereas this one is a lot more secure thanks to this snap here. But overall, really sturdy, nice, thick leather, feels of high quality. Definitely worth the money, I would say. Yeah, let's take a look at the leather work included with the 3 different axes, or hatchets, hawks. Let's take a look at the leather work here, provided with the 3 different axes, or hatchets, hawks. So, in general, for axes, I do of course like them to come with a leather sheath, definitely. I mean, most axes do. But with certain designs, especially like the V-axe here, I kind of would have liked a KYDEX system actually. And to be honest, I could have gone with a KYDEX for both the hammer hawk and the high impact axe as well. But Tops decided to go leather for all 3, and I mean, I can say right away, much as with the knives, the leather is of the highest quality, both in terms of looks, feel, fit and finish and everything like that. But it's just that I wouldn't have mind if they actually provided alternative carrying systems like a KYDEX sheath. That being said, we are here to look at the leather work now. So let's start with the hammer hawk here, and I'm gonna put these away for now. So the hammer hawk is especially interesting, I think, here, since it provides a small sheath here for a backup knife as well. But I mean, the general design is like this. You have a sheath here for the blade, of course, or for the head. But you also have this system here with a belt loop for, carrying the knife on your belt. So let's remove that part for now, if it's possible. I remember, it's kind of tight to get it off perhaps. Let's see if we can do it. So, this is the actual belt loop system. Looks kind of like what you expect from a leather belt loop system for an axe. We've seen this design before, not with the included backup blade sheath here, which is also with some plastic insert of sorts. Might be difficult to see, but there's a bit of a plastic insert there. It is, I will say, it is kind of gimmicky, but it is also a nice touch actually. But I guess that, usually when I'm out in the woods and carrying a small axe, I will be carrying a good knife to pair with it. But the leather here is thick, it is sturdy, it is heavy. I like this. I mean, it feels really great, and the sewing is on point here. I mean, some really nice sewing, stitching here. I think it is actually pretty terrific. You can't expect better quality than this. And I mean, this, if you just want to go with this, you can use it for other axes as well, not just for this axe. You can use it for your other tops axe or other axes from other makers and brands as well. So yeah, I like this a lot. It's a great addition. So the actual leather here for the head. Once again, look at this sewing here. It is on point. They know how to do great leather work. Absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. They are pros, okay? So the fit here of the leather sheet is also on point. Nice snaps. And yeah, I mean, this is, if you have to go leather, this is well, probably the best you can get in terms of leather work, I would say. It really feels of great quality, much better quality than many of my real or other axes from the best makers around the world. I mean, much better leather work than Gränsforsbruk, much better leather work than Hultafors, much better leather work than Phoenix, better than Sibulat. Oh wait, Sibulat is actually making some great leather work as well, but it is better than Phoenix. It is better than Topor Sib. I mean, this is just, it feels really good. So, but I still kind of like a KYDEX system as well, just to be able to go with it. But in terms of what we have here, it is really nice. And I'm gonna show you something, a really nice touch here as well, that most people might miss out here. So these, I'm not sure what these are called in English, but the backside here, they have put some protection on here so that it won't scratch the axe head. I would have done that myself if not for this. It is a little bit off center here, one of these pieces. Maybe I can actually fix that myself. I'm probably gonna have to fix it myself. This one is a little bit loose, but I do appreciate the thought in putting some protection on the metal so it doesn't scratch the axe head. Really nice and thoughtful of Tops to do that. See if we can get it on. There we go. And then this part. It is a little bit on the tight side here, I got to say that. But overall, excellent leather work. Excellent leather work. Let's take a look at the V-axe next. So this comes with a black leather sheath, and I mean, pretty interesting leather work due to the, of course, due to the design of the axe head here. Two snaps going underneath each respective side here. The leather work is on point. There is some small, I'm not gonna call this, belt loops, because it's way too small to fit a belt in this little area, but I mean, you can attach something like a dangler system to it to actually carry it on your belt. Might be a little bit bulky, I would say, though. But it is on point. Once again, stitching, sewing here is pretty much incredible, but the design is, of course, I mean, it is a little bit random, I've got to say. But once again, semi-thick, sturdy leather, feels of high quality. But like I said, I would definitely have preferred, I mean the leatherwork is great, but I would have preferred a KYDEX sheath for this specific model. I mean this model screams, you know, like tactical in a way that that makes the KYDEX sheath more more logical to include than a leather sheath. That much I've got to say. I'm not sure why they decided to go with leather instead of KYDEX, but I'm sure they have their reasons. But I mean, it will protect the axe. It will be of high quality, this leather sheath, but it is a little bit random, I've got to say. Let's see if we can get it on here. So let's see, snap the final snap. There we go. So let's proceed with the last piece here, which is the high impact axe. So this is a pretty, you know, pretty straightforward leather sheath for it. There is no carrying option or anything. This is just for, you know, protective aspects. Sturdy, thick leather once again, brown leather sheath. Excellent sewing once again. Some really nice. I mean, look at it. And I also forgot to mention that you have the TOPS emblem stamped here on the sheath, and you do have it on. I mean, you probably saw it before here, but it's also stamped on this sheath and on the belt attachment as well. And also on this, the V-axe, you have the TOPS logo stamped here in the leather. Nicely done. So, I mean, simple, but very, you know, functional and nice leather work. Definitely, you know, what you would want for your axe. But once again, I mean, for this axe, I could have gone with a KYDEX version as well. I wouldn't have minded that, to have the option. I wonder, did they put the protective stuff on these as well? Yeah, so you have the protective stuff on these two metal parts here as well. I really like that, you know, it's a nice addition, so I don't have to do it myself. So that is the leather for the high impact axe. The leatherwork is really nice on all three axes. No doubt about it whatsoever. You will get great leatherwork when you get a leather sheath included with your TOPS knife or axe. We have now taken a closer look at each respective knife, their respective sheath, and we've also, you know, gone over the not the full specs, but like a sort of an overview of sorts. But what I want to do next here is to put the factory sharpness to the test to see how sharp the knives actually are. So we're gonna slice some printing paper, we're gonna slice some magazine paper, and we're gonna go with some newspaper as well. And I'm gonna try to be a bit more efficient than I usually am, since we have, well, if we are gonna do this with the axes and hawks as well, we have 14 individual models to test out. So I'm gonna give like each knife 1 or 2 slices, and that's it. And we're gonna start with the printing paper. Yeah, we're gonna start with this thing, the biggest knife we have here, which is the Bestia. So let's see if this is visible in the camera. Hopefully it is. 1 slice and 2 slices, and I guess that's it. Seems like this one will slice printing paper. Next up we have the brush wolf. So let's go. Oh, that's nice. This is actually, yeah, this is some really nice level of sharpness with the brush wolf. Then we can go with Silent Hero. Yeah, this one also has a nice factory edge to it. Let's try the Sabo Express double edge. This one should be slicey as hell. Yeah, let's also try the I mean, this is a double edge, so we should of course try both edges, right? And it does seem like it will slice with its other edge as well. And I should only do a few slices per paper, per knife, yeah, okay. Well, anyways, this one was nice. Then we can try the Spirit Hunter. And it seems to be pretty sharp as well, and that's gonna be 2 slices. Yeah, that's the Spirit Hunter. Next up, we have the Eagle's Shadow. Let's see what we can do with that one. Yeah, I feel like it's not slicing as nicely as the other knives, and I can see that it is kind of thick behind the edge, but yeah, I mean it did of course, it did slice through the printing paper, but not with such ease as the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knives that we have tested so far. Next up we have let's go with the Rapid Strike. I hope this one will be a great slicer, so let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is nice. And now I'm slicing way more than, just the 1 or 2 slices that I said I would do, but sometimes it's just too, I can't really resist it, This is nice. Really, really nice. That was the Rapid Strike. Now we can go with the Wolf Pup XL next. See? So this one, I mean, it will obviously slice paper fairly well. Yeah, okay. Was it my technique? I don't know. Well, I mean, it will slice paper, but it feels also... Yeah, this one is not thick behind the edge. It's actually kind of a thin profile overall. Yeah, I mean, this one should have sliced perhaps a little bit better than it did. Let's go with... what should we go with next here? Let's go with the felony stuff, I think. Just gonna bring some more papers here. Let's see here. Yeah. I mean, kind of expected it to be even sharper. Let's try the... I mean, this is a double edge, so let's try the other edge as well here. Oops. Yeah. So, I mean, it is sharp, but it could have been even sharper. Let's see. Now we're gonna test the next one here, which is the Desert Sun, the small recurve blade here. So let's see what we can accomplish. Okay. What's going on here? So I can say right away that this is super thick behind the edge, like incredibly thick. Damn. Let's see if we can try again here. Using the top part here perhaps, but it's kind of thick behind the edge all the way around. Still like this. So I mean, it's just super thick behind the edge. Not optimal for slicing paper. That much I can say for the Desert Sun here. Then we have the final blade here, which is the backup. The tiny little skeletonized backup. So let's see whether or not it is sharp enough. I mean, we are limited a little bit by the blade length, but it does seem to be actually kind of sharp at least, although not much blade length to it. Yeah, so it will slice paper, just limited by the blade length. So that concludes all the factory sharpness testing of the knives on printing paper. I would say out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 knives, there were only one that wasn't really sharp, and that was the Desert Sun. Super thick behind the edge. Actually has a bit more of a polished edge almost look than the others. Yeah, so should we try the axis as well? Yeah, we can try the axis as well. Give me 1 second, I'll set it up. Okay, so we're gonna do sharpness tests of axes as well, and we're gonna start with the high impact axe and some printing paper. So let's see how this one performs. It's visible, yeah. So it seems like this high impact axe is actually kind of sharp. Yeah, this one is sharp, definitely. So let's go with the Hammerhawk next. See here. Okay, obviously not quite as sharp as the, probably a bit of a lower angle as well than the high impact axe, I would say. But even so, it will slice printing paper. Yeah. And then we have the V-axe. So this is going to be a bit interesting and fun, I hope. Yeah, this one is also actually quite sharp. So yeah, the V-axe will also slice paper with ease. All the three axes were actually quite a bit sharper than the Desert Sun. And perhaps the high impact axe was actually sharper than perhaps the Wolf Pup XL, and perhaps even sharper, or it was even sharper than the Felony Stop as well. So that's actually kind of interesting. Let's move on to magazine paper. Time to slice some magazine paper, and let's see if we can keep up the efficiency here. So we're gonna start with the Bestia again. We're gonna go in the same order like last time, I think, pretty much. So the Bestia will slice magazine paper. Let's go with the Brush Wolf here next. Let's go with the same page actually. Oh yeah. Yeah, so this one will, yeah. This one, I like the sharpness of this one, it just feels great slicing paper. So let's go with the Silent Hero next, and let's go for a new page. Make it somewhat equal for all the models. So Silent Hero it is. Yeah, definitely slices magazine paper with ease. And then we have the Sabo Express, which I expect will slice just as nicely. Let's switch side. Go with the back side. Yeah. So this one will also slice quite nicely. Then we have the Spirit Hunter. Let's see, with its slight recurve here. Yeah, easy peasy. So this could be kind of interesting because now we have the Eagle's Shadow, which didn't really excel in the printing paper slicing. So let's see, but this is sometimes an easier type of paper to slice. So let's see. Yeah, as you can see, there's different types of paper. The knives or the edge slice differently, So slicing printing magazine paper was not a big issue for the Eagle's Shadow. Let's go next here. Next one should be the Rapid Strike. This one should be like slicing hot butter. Slicing butter with a hot knife, that is probably the same, right? Yeah, super easy. And then we have the Wolf Pup XL, which also, I'm not gonna say that it struggled with the printing paper, but it didn't slice it as nicely as many of the other knives. So let's see how it does with the magazine paper. Oh yeah. So magazine paper is what this knife can slice well. Let's go with the felony stop, which wasn't also one of the top tier knives in sharpness, but it was still sharp, you know. Let's go with the magazine paper here now. Feels a little bit uneven in the sharpness perhaps. But yeah, I mean, will it slice the magazine paper? Yes, it will slice the magazine paper. So now we have an interesting one, really interesting one. The Desert Sun here. This one, well, I mean, it really struggled slicing regular printing paper. So let's see how it does with this sort of more laminated magazine paper. I think this can be actually really interesting. So let's go. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a whole page here just because it's interesting to see how it performs. So I mean, it struggles here as well, but I mean, once it catches on, I mean, it can go through. Let's skip the recurve perhaps and just go, alright, I'm not sure. I mean, as you can see, part of it is of course perhaps due to the recurve, but it also is due to the really thick thickness behind the edge here. That is when we get results such as what we're seeing here. So far, the Desert Sun is the one knife that struggles the absolute most. Then again, I mean, this is 1095 steel, so it's not that hard to sharpen, which is a good thing. Okay, so let's go with the little backup here now. I mean, I kind of catch on here on the sharpening choil when I'm cutting the paper, otherwise it would be more of a, you know, as you can see now, it is slightly more smooth as long as I don't move it too close to the sharpening choil. Then again, I mean, that is the issue with limited blade length. But yeah, this one slices the magazine paper very nicely, no doubt about it. So that is it for the knives. But I guess we could do the axes as well right away here. So let's go with the high impact axe right away. Oh man, this is hefty, you know. So let's do some magazine slicing with an axe. This axe is insanely sharp, I'm telling you. Better watch your fingers here, yeah. Really super sharp. Nice. Let's go hammer hawk. Yeah, I mean, this is also sharp, but it is not as sharp as the high impact axe, no. But it is sharp, as you can see. So, last but not least, the V-axe. Let's do this with a not so very comfortable handle. Yeah, obviously very sharp as well, slices with ease. So all in all, I think we can say that the only knife that didn't slice this type of paper very well at all was the Desert Sun. All the other knives and axes slice through the magazine paper with ease. Now we're gonna have some fun slicing newspaper, the perhaps most interesting paper type of them all. So let's start with the biggest we got, the Bestia. I mean, this is really nice. And then we will go Brush Wolf. Let's see. Oh yeah. I wonder if the Brush Wolf here is in fact the sharpest one of them all so far. Then we have the Silent Hero. Perhaps I should grab a new paper. I think we're gonna grab one more piece of paper here. Let's see. Yeah. Silent Hero doing great work as well. Then we have the Sabo Express double edge. Oh yeah, really nice work. Then we got the Spirit Hunter. We're gonna grab a new piece of paper because it gets too difficult like that. So Spirit Hunter, yeah. Oh yeah. So Spirit Hunter slices newspaper well too. And then we have, yeah, this is gonna be interesting because we have one of those knives that are a bit, we don't really know where they are in sharpness. So this is the Eagle's Shadow. Let's see if, you know, how it handles newspaper. Interesting. This is actually a bit inconclusive, the data I'm getting here, because I didn't think it would actually slice the newspaper this well. How is that? Oh well, that's interesting. The Eagle's Shadow delivered, slicing newspaper. Next up we have the Rapid Strike. Should be a no-brainer, that's gonna slice nicely. Oh yeah. Definitely a nice slicer. And then we have the Wolf Pup XL, also one of those knives that are, you know, a little bit in between. Let's see. This is interesting and also a little bit inconclusive. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so it slices newspaper fairly well. Let's grab another piece here and go with a felony stop here, which is also a bit, well, in between. So I don't quite get this, to be honest, but yeah, it's nice to see it do such great work on the newspaper. Okay, so next up we have the thick edge, heavy recurve, small desert sun here. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, so you know what, I'm gonna give it a new piece here of paper, but I doubt it will make any difference at all. Still, I mean, it does actually, yeah. Well, I mean, at least it is consistent. This one has trouble slicing newspaper due to the thickness behind the edge. Then we have, let's grab a new piece of paper here. The small backup. Yeah. I mean, this blade is only limited pretty much by its blade length and a little bit by the blade shape as well, sort of. But yeah, it is sharp and it will slice newspaper, definitely. So that's it for all the knives, but once again, let's go directly on to the big boys and the high compact axe here. Let's just try to find a piece of paper. Let's go with this one. So, I mean, we know this is sharp and I expect it to slice this fairly well, actually. Or, yeah. Just have to get a grip here. Oops. Yeah, I mean, the high compact axe is sharp. But I don't think they, you know, when they made this axe, I don't think they had, you know, in thought that it was gonna sit and slice newspaper. So let's go with the hammer hook. Let's see. Oh, is this actually posing a challenge for our hammer hook? Let's see. I kind of have to adjust the angle a bit when working with with the access. But I mean, yeah, it did slice these two pieces off, and I mean, it will slice the magazine paper, perhaps not with ease, but yeah. Last but not least, let's go with the V-axe here. Let's see. Nice. Yeah, so this one will slice newspaper. Yeah, so every knife and every axe sliced the newspaper and did it fairly well, except once again for the Desert Sun. I feel a little bit bad for this one, but I will make sure it gets really sharp soon enough. All in all, maybe I should say something now that we have tried, slicing all these different types of paper, that I would say that there is a high consistency with the sharpness, factory sharpness from the knives that I have here and the axes. I mean, I have 14 individual bladed tools here, and pretty much all of them are either very sharp or sharp. And none of them, or well, one of them is, I'm not gonna say it's dull, but it's definitely not on the level of sharpness that one could perhaps expect, especially compared to the others. But overall, Topps knives seems to be very sharp knives, and that's a good thing. We have now reached the final part of this, I guess we can call this a Topps knives and hawks axes overview video, and it's been a pretty comprehensive video, at least in terms of number of models shown in one video. And I did try to go with a pretty good variety here, with everything from like small tactical fixed blades to more medium-sized hunting knives and more bushcraft oriented knives, and then like heavy pure choppers, really heavy full tang axes, hawks, and more of a tactical hawk, I would say. And my intention was that I really wanted to make a fixed blade video again, because I've done so many folders lately, and this channel was once upon a time all about fixed blades, and I want to not even it out, but at least I wanted to make something special as a comeback video of sorts. And I know that Topps knives are pretty popular, especially in the US. I mean, they are US made knives and axes. But I had no personal experience with this brand before this video. I know that a lot of you guys and girls watching this video might own one or several knives. But for me this was totally new, and I really wanted to go, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, I wanted to go with designs that I had no previous experience with. I mean, I do have tons of fixed blades, I have tons of axes, but I wanted to go with stuff that I had nothing that really resembled that. And I mean, on this table we have most of these knives and axes are in 1095 steel, and that is a steel that is perhaps not the most popular out there. It's considered perhaps a more budget steel of sorts, and I mean it is more of a budget steel compared to some of the super steels like CPM 3V or Kruger or Magna Catna or Elmax or whatnot. But I also brought some stainless options as well, such as the Spirit Hunter here in 154 cm, the Rapid Strike in 154 cm, and was that the only two? Yeah, perhaps. But I mean, super steels aside, I mean, I wanted to, if there are designs that I can't even get in any other steel than 1095, then I will go with 1095 that I did here. And there are still some, some advantages of 1095 over some of the other, super steels. At least if you're talking like stainless and non-stainless steels, with 1095 being pretty far from a stainless. So it will require some, maintenance to not have it rust. Then again, Topps are doing their, their black traction coating and some other. I know they do like a tungsten coating as well, and then we have I'm not even sure what this kind of coating is called, but they do some different types of coating to help prevent issues with corrosion and rust. But one of the biggest advantages, I would say, of 1095 is that it is quite easy to sharpen, you know, and that might be a good thing when you are out in the field and if you need to sharpen your tools. I also think I did not mention that many of these knives are, if not all of the knives here, are differentially heat treated, meaning the edge is harder than the spine of the knife here. Should have mentioned that before, but I guess I never did. And I mean, we haven't tried the toughness of the axes nor the knives. The only thing I did do in this video, well, the only thing, was to go over the overall designs. I didn't crunch all the specs, but I did go over the designs kind of fast. We took a look at all of the KYDEX sheets and also all of the leather work. And then we tested out the factory edge on 3 different types of paper, just to get a feeling of, you know, of what the factory sharpness is like. And I mean, the KYDEX sheets are really, really good, I would say. The leather work is perhaps, I'm not gonna say even better, but it is also really, really good. The factory sharpness overall on all of these knives were also quite excellent, aside from this little Desert Sun here that was not quite on par with the others. A little bit too thick behind the edge. But that was, you know, that was pretty much it, I would say. In terms of ergos, etc., I would say that pretty much all of these knives are very ergonomical, very nice to hold in hand and to work with. And that goes for the high impact axe as well, because I thought it had some pretty good ergos. The Hammerhawk, I would have liked to see, you know, the Hammerhawk has the total opposite design here compared to the impact axe. And as I mentioned when I did overview here of the Hammerhawk, is that I would have liked to see this one like reversed. In other words, just as the high impact axe. To me, this end pommel here just feels kind of strange and limits me a little bit. And that is perhaps not the best thing when you only have this much of a handle to work with from the beginning. But other than that, this is a nice little tool. One tool here that wasn't super nice in hand was, of course, this hawk here with the what are we gonna call these? The grooves, or whatever you want to call this pattern here. But then again, I think that the intended use here is to get a really good grip and to use gloves when working with this one. For whatever work you're gonna put this one through, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Anyway, I'm gonna try to sum it up now that I will make individual videos of some of these knives to test them out a bit more. But I hope I've been able to give you a nice introduction to this brand and to the big variety in models. I mean, they do have a few other 100 models than what is shown here on the table, but I went with what I wanted the most myself. The only thing that I really feel is lacking here is that I would have wanted to have an Hachette on the table to pair up with the Bestia perhaps. But the Hachette has been out of stock for quite some time, but I know that Topps is slowly trying to restock most of their current production models. So it's a bit of a waiting game right now. In terms of, you know, and if I have any favorites here on the table, I would say that the Sabo Express Double Edge, I'm not really sure why, but I really like this knife, this design. The Rapid Strike, I really like that one, and I will pick up the double edge version once it is available again. I also find the Brush Wolf here to be a very interesting design, and I look forward to try it out more out in the woods. And the Spirit Hunter is also quite a nice knife as well. I'm also quite intrigued still here by the felony stop here. I think it is a really interesting design that has, you know, more purpose than being just a tactical self-defense knife of sorts, which is what I will never use it for. But I will find other uses for this knife because it is an interesting design. It really is, and the ergos are spot on. Overall, I mean, there are good things to say about all the knives here, and yeah, some models might grow on me even more, and others might do the opposite perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that yeah, I've given you some perspective on the different models and the variety made by this American knife maker.